If your mind won't stop right now, if your thoughts keep circling without rest, repeating the same worries again and again, even when you are tired, this moment was meant for you, and you are exactly where you need to be right now. There is something about the night, when everything becomes quiet and still, that makes the noise inside your mind feel louder, clearer, and more intense, as if your thoughts have finally found the space to speak without interruption. During the day, you can distract yourself with tasks, conversations, and responsibilities, moving from one thing to another, convincing yourself that everything is under control, even when something inside you feels unsettled. But now, in this silence, with fewer distractions and less noise around you, everything that was hidden begins to surface again, and your mind starts to revisit what you tried to leave behind. Every thought you ignored earlier, every worry you postponed, every feeling you didn't have time to process, slowly returns, asking for your attention in a way that feels impossible to avoid. And your mind does not slow down when this happens. It begins to move faster, jumping from one thought to another, creating connections, imagining possibilities, and trying to find answers where none seem clear. Maybe you don't even know exactly why you feel this way. Maybe nothing significant happened today. Maybe everything seemed normal, but inside you there is still a weight that you cannot explain. That quiet pressure in your chest, that subtle tension in your body, that constant movement in your thoughts, as if something is not right, even when everything appears to be fine. And the more you try to stop thinking, the more your mind continues, pushing deeper into questions, replaying situations, and searching for solutions that don't seem to exist in this moment. It becomes exhausting in a way that is difficult to describe, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, leaving you feeling drained even when you have done nothing at all. But right now, in this moment, you don't need to fight your thoughts. You don't need to silence your mind by force, and you don't need to win this battle using only your own strength. Because you were never meant to carry all of this alone, and the weight you feel is not something you need to solve by yourself tonight. God sees you right now, not only what you show to others, not only what you say out loud, but also everything that happens inside your mind and heart. He sees the thoughts you haven't shared, the worries you've kept hidden, and the fears you don't even fully understand, and still He remains with you. In this exact moment, even if you don't feel it yet, He is here, closer than your thoughts, closer than your fears, closer than anything that feels overwhelming inside you. Peace does not always arrive suddenly. It does not always come as a strong feeling. Sometimes it begins quietly, almost unnoticed, growing slowly within you. And in the next few moments, something inside you will begin to shift, not all at once, not dramatically, but gently, deeply, and in a way that is real. So right now, allow yourself to stay here, without rushing, without trying to move ahead, without trying to fix everything that feels out of place. There is nothing you need to solve in this moment, nothing you need to control, nothing you need to understand completely right now. You are allowed to pause, you are allowed to breathe, and you are allowed to rest without needing to justify it or explain it. Because what your mind needs right now is not more thinking, not more effort, and not more pressure, but something much simpler and much deeper. It needs rest, and that rest is already beginning, even if you can only feel it in small, quiet ways at first. Lord, in this quiet moment, I come before you just as I am, without trying to organize my thoughts perfectly, without trying to appear strong, but simply bringing everything that is inside me, even the parts I cannot fully explain. You already know every detail of what I am feeling, every thought that crossed my mind today, every concern that followed me from moment to moment, even the ones I tried to ignore or push aside. There are things I carried silently, situations I kept replaying, and questions I kept asking myself, and now I recognize how heavy all of this has become inside my mind. So tonight I choose to bring everything to you, not because I understand everything that is happening, but because I trust that you understand what I cannot. My thoughts have been moving constantly, searching for answers, analyzing situations, imagining possibilities, and trying to create control where there is none. The more I try to control what is happening in my mind, the more I feel overwhelmed, as if I am trying to hold something that keeps slipping away from me. But in this moment, I choose to slow down, even if everything around me feels uncertain, even if my mind still tries to continue its pattern.
I choose to release the need to solve everything tonight, and I allow myself to rest in the fact that I do not need to parry everything alone. Little by little, I begin to let go of the weight I have been holding, not all at once, but gradually, allowing each thought to lose its intensity. Every worry that kept repeating, every fear that felt persistent, every situation that felt unresolved, I place it all before you. I recognize that I was never meant to handle everything by myself, and that trying to do so only made me more tired. As I surrender, I begin to notice a shift, something subtle but real, as if the pressure inside me is starting to ease. My breathing becomes slower, my body begins to relax, and the tension that once filled my mind starts to soften. This moment feels different, not because everything has changed around me, but because something inside me is changing. If this moment is touching your heart right now, subscribe to this channel and allow this to become your place of peace every night, where you can return and rest your mind. Because you don't have to go through these moments alone, and each night can become a new opportunity to reconnect with calm. Lord, take the space that anxiety has been occupying inside my mind and begin to fill it with your peace, even if I cannot fully feel it yet. Replace the constant noise with stillness, replace the tension with calm, and replace the fear with trust that grows quietly. I don't need to understand everything right now. I don't need to solve everything tonight. I only need to remain here with you. And as I stay in this moment, I begin to feel that your presence is enough, even without answers, even without clarity. Your word reminds me that peace is not something that depends on everything around me being perfect, but something that comes from you, something that exists even when my thoughts feel unsettled, uncertain, and constantly moving from one place to another without rest. And right now, even if I do not fully feel that peace yet, I choose to receive it, not based on what I can see, not based on what I can understand, but based on who you are and the promises that you have already spoken over my life. My thoughts may still try to return to worry. They may still try to bring back the same questions, the same concerns, and the same fears that I have been carrying throughout the day. But I begin to realize that I do not have to follow them. I begin to understand that not every thought that crosses my mind is true, that not every fear represents reality,
and that not every feeling should determine the direction of my life or my peace. Sometimes my mind speaks from fear, from exhaustion, from uncertainty, from things I cannot control, but your voice speaks from truth, from stability, and from a peace that does not change. And your truth reminds me that I am not alone in this moment, that I am being sustained even when I cannot see it clearly, and that you are aware of everything that is happening inside me. So instead of reacting to every thought, I begin to pause, to observe what is happening inside my mind, and to gently bring my focus back to you, again and again, without pressure. This is not something I need to do perfectly, and it is not something I need to force, but something I can allow to happen naturally as I remain here in this moment. Each time my mind drifts back into worry, I return. Each time fear tries to grow, I return. And this simple act of returning becomes part of my rest. Slowly, I begin to notice that the thoughts lose their urgency, that they no longer demand the same level of attention, and that I no longer feel pulled in every direction. What once felt overwhelming begins to feel smaller. What once felt urgent begins to slow down. And what once felt heavy begins to lose its weight little by little. And in that space, something new begins to grow inside me. Something steady, something calm, something that is not affected by the same thoughts that once controlled me. Faith begins to form, not as something loud or forced, but as something quiet, consistent, and deeply present. Something that grows even when I do not notice it immediately. I realize that I do not need to feel complete peace all at once, and I do not need to rush this process, because true peace grows in a way that is gradual and lasting. Because even now, something is changing inside me, even if I cannot measure it, even if I cannot fully explain it, even if it feels subtle. Your presence is working in ways I cannot see, calming what I cannot control, restoring what I did not even realize needed to be restored, and bringing balance where there was tension.
And as I remain here, I allow my mind to follow this new direction, not toward fear, not toward worry, but toward peace that is rooted in you. I no longer need to chase answers tonight. I no longer need to solve everything. I no longer need to understand every detail of what is happening. Instead, I allow myself to rest in the fact that you are present, that you are aware, and that you are already taking care of what I cannot. This connection becomes my anchor, something I can return to whenever my thoughts begin to drift, something that keeps me grounded in peace. And with each return, the noise becomes quieter, the tension becomes softer, and the peace becomes more present and more real. Lord, in this moment, I stop trying to carry everything by myself, and I begin to recognize that the weight I have been holding inside my mind was never meant to be handled alone. There are thoughts I have been repeating, worries I have been holding on to, and situations I have been trying to control, and now I can feel how heavy all of this has become within me. So I begin to release, not perfectly, not all at once, but honestly, allowing each thought to loosen its hold on me little by little. I no longer want to carry what is too heavy. I no longer want to stay trapped in the same cycle of thinking, and I no longer want to feel this constant pressure. I bring before you every concern that has been filling my mind, every fear that has been quietly growing, and every question that I have not been able to answer. As I release these things, I begin to notice a subtle shift, something small but real, something that makes me feel lighter than before. The tension that once felt constant begins to soften, and the pressure that once filled my thoughts begins to fade slowly. I realize that I do not need to solve everything right now. I do not need to understand everything tonight, and I do not need to control every situation. Instead, I choose to trust, even if my understanding is limited, even if my thoughts still try to return to old patterns. I allow myself to let go of the need to hold everything together, and I begin to rest in the fact that I am not alone in this moment. If you are making this decision right now, write in the comments, "I trust you, Lord," and let this be more than just words. Let this be your moment of surrender, a real moment where you release what has been weighing on your mind and allow yourself to rest. Lord, reach every person who is listening right now, every person who feels overwhelmed, every person who is searching for peace in the middle of restless thoughts. Meet them exactly where they are, not where they think they should be, but exactly where they are in this moment. Enter their thoughts gently, calm their mind without force, and bring stillness where there has been constant movement. Let your presence fill the spaces that anxiety has occupied, replacing fear with peace and tension with calm. Let each person feel that they are not alone, that they are being cared for, and that this moment is safe. Even if the change feels small, even if it is quiet, let them recognize that something is shifting inside them, because this is how peace begins, not suddenly, but gradually, not loudly, but deeply. And right now, that process has already started, even if it is still unfolding in subtle ways. Right now, something inside me is beginning to settle in a deeper way, not just on the surface of my thoughts, but within the core of how I feel and how my mind has been moving. The noise that once felt constant is no longer as intense, and the thoughts that once demanded my attention are beginning to lose their urgency little by little. I can still notice thoughts passing through my mind, but they no longer feel as overwhelming, and they no longer pull me in the same way they did before. Instead of reacting to each thought, I begin to allow them to pass, without resistance, without pressure, without feeling the need to follow them. There is a space forming inside me, a space that was not there before, where my mind can finally begin to rest without constantly searching for something to solve. My breathing becomes deeper and more natural, and I begin to feel my body releasing the tension it has been holding for so long. I no longer feel the same urgency to understand everything, and I no longer feel the same pressure to control every situation around me. There is a sense of calm that begins to grow, not something forced, not something created, but something that feels real and present. Lord, I feel your presence in this moment, not as something distant, but as something close, something steady, something I can rest in. I do not need to question it. I do not need to analyze it. I do not need to fully understand it. I simply allow myself to receive it. This peace is not something I created on my own. It is something that was already available, something that I am now allowing myself to experience. The weight I was carrying is no longer mine. The pressure I was holding is no longer mine, and the thoughts that once overwhelmed me are losing their strength. I am no longer trying to resist what I feel. I am no longer trying to fight my own mind. I am simply allowing myself to rest. And in this rest, I begin to feel safe, not because everything is resolved, but because I am no longer alone in what I am experiencing. Nothing is chasing me. Nothing is demanding answers. Nothing is forcing me to act or respond right now.
everything can wait, everything can be held, and everything can be taken care of without me needing to carry it all at once. And this realization brings a deeper level of peace, a peace that is steady, a peace that is quiet, and a peace that does not depend on what is happening around me. I allow myself to remain in this moment without rushing, without returning to worry, without leaving this space too quickly, because this is where I am meant to be right now, in this stillness, in this calm, in this presence that surrounds me. And as I stay here, I begin to understand that this peace is not temporary, but something that continues to grow within me. Lord, as this moment gently comes to an end, I begin to notice that something inside me is no longer the same, even if the change feels quiet and subtle within me. The heaviness that once filled my thoughts has softened, and the constant noise that was present in my mind is no longer as strong as it was before. In its place, there is a calm that feels steady, not forced, not temporary, but something that rests quietly within me without needing to be explained. I recognize that this peace did not come from my own effort, but from your presence, from your patience, and from the way you met me exactly where I was. Thank you, Lord, for being here with me tonight, for understanding what I could not explain, and for calming what I could not control. Thank you for holding what I was trying to carry alone, and for reminding me that I was never meant to handle everything by myself. Even when my thoughts were scattered, even when my mind felt restless, and even when I didn't know how to pray, you were still here. You did not leave, you did not turn away, and you did not wait for me to be ready. You met me exactly as I am. And now I begin to feel that presence, not as something distant, but as something close, something real, something I can rest in. As I prepare to rest tonight, I carry this peace with me, knowing that it does not end here and that it continues beyond this moment. Even while I sleep, you are present, watching over me, protecting my mind, and guarding my thoughts in ways I cannot fully see. There is nothing I need to solve right now, nothing I need to control, and nothing that requires my effort in this moment. Everything I was holding has been placed in your hands, and I trust that you are taking care of what I cannot. If you want to continue feeling this peace every night, subscribe now and come back tomorrow, allowing this to become your daily moment with God. Let this be a place where your mind slows down, where your thoughts find rest, and where your heart reconnects with something deeper. Lord, I give you everything, my thoughts, my worries, my fears, and everything that has been occupying my mind. I release it completely, without holding anything back, trusting that you will take care of every detail in your time. Tonight, I allow myself to rest fully, without pressure, without fear, and without the need to understand everything. Tomorrow I will trust you again, and I will return to this place of peace, allowing this connection to grow stronger each day. And right now, in this moment, I recognize that I am not alone, that I am safe, and that I am at peace. Amen.